Welcome back to the Mr. Manhood podcast. In this episode, we'll be talking about never being afraid to be who you are. I didn't have the opportunity when I was younger to, excuse me, fit in. I always ended up on the outside looking in, trying to be cool like everyone else. Not because I wasn't cool, but because there were so many aspects of my life that were so different from everyone else that it became difficult for me to fit in with everyone else. So, for example, at a time in the 90s where most men weren't in the households or most of my friends didn't have fathers at home, I was raising my dad. And so while everyone had a story about something that their mother did, I didn't necessarily have that. I also had this weird name that people were always asking about where did it come from or what does it mean. Having the name of Vallejo is always a topic of conversation. I didn't have a normal name like Derek or Sean or Chris. My name stood out no matter where I was. And those are just half of it. The other half of it was I have physical attributes that were just different from everyone else's, right? So, for example, I was taller than everyone else. I've always been tall for my height. Of course, you don't get to choose. It's just genetics. I've always had big hands. I've had a gap tooth all my life. I was just different. And in going through your childhood stages, it's very difficult to be around your friends and want to fit in with those guys, and you're just not like everyone else. You're just not the same. So I found myself many times having my feelings hurt, not because they were hurting my feelings, not because my friends were hurting my feelings, but because I wanted to fit in with everyone else. And I remember one day, it was probably about seventh or eighth grade, where it just like I had really hit a wall because I was now growing into my personality. I was now coming to that point in my life where I I, I wanted to be cool to my friends, and it just wasn't really happening for me. I was trying to fit into a box that my friends were living in, and I forget what this kid said to me, but it really affected me because I just wanted to be fit, to be cool. I just wanted to fit in, and I ended up walking home that day from school. And I got home, and my dad saw this pouty look on my face, and he asked me what was wrong. And of course, you know, your my basic answer was, yeah, nothing. And he said, well, what happened in school? And I kind of ran down what ended up happening with me and this kid. And I told my dad outright that I just wanted to be cool. And he asked me a simple question. He said, well, what makes you think you're not? And he helped me to see that what I was looking at was trying to be cool like them. And he helped me to understand that, well, son, just you being Vallejo, whoever that is, you get to choose. That will make you cool because you're the only one. No one can emulate Vallejo like Vallejo can. And he had this long talk with me about just being myself and not being afraid to be Vallejo because there is only one for like for the next 400 miles. I'm pretty much the only Vallejo that would be in the neighborhood in that 400-mile radius. So once we finished that conversation, I had this newfound pride into who I was and who I am today. And it became a a pivotal point in my life where I was now comfortable just simply being me. And if someone didn't like it, or if I didn't fit into a box they wanted me to be in, I was okay with that. I'm, okay. I can live with that. And it wasn't that I was better than anyone else. I was literally coming into myself. And this was probably like, 13, maybe 12, 13, or 14 years old, where I was coming into myself, where I was just like, well, okay. If you don't like me for who I am, well, that's fine too. And I started realizing that a lot of my friends were hitting that wall later in life, while I was hitting it, or while I hit it in um, seventh or eighth grade, and it didn't bother me for the rest of my life, even until today. I realized that there's true beauty in being who you are. I read this quote a few months back. I can't remember who it was from, but the quote simply said, "If you love a flower, don't pick it up, because when you pick it up, it ceases to be what you loved." Love is not about the capturing of something, but the appreciation of it. And that's kind of paraphrasing. Also, I may have some of that, some parts of that quote wrong, but the general idea is there's beauty in it just being. You just being who you are, and just being your life, your story. There's beauty in that. There's always beauty in anything that the eye can see. Because it's not just what it is today, but the story of how we become, or how we came from where we were to where we are. There's beauty in that. So all aspects of yourself, there's beauty in it. So above all else, never be afraid to be who you are, because there's always beauty in who you are and why you are. So this concludes this podcast for today. I will be uploading another here very soon, and I hope that you listen to it. Thank you.